So one of the things that's actually come to light over the last couple of days is this plan to not scrap what's referred to as the two-child benefits cap, which I believe has got to do with if you have more than two children, you don't have any child benefits at all. Because I think the idea is that if your income is over £50,000 a year, you're not entitled to it. At least 10 years ago, I believe that's what the rule officially was. However, when you hear a thing like this, you're sort of maybe torn a bit two ways, because on one hand, there should not be a law. There should not be a law that should exist in this country that forbids people from having 5 kids, 6 kids, 7 kids, 7 kids, 8 kids, 9 kids, 10 kids. For me, that's immoral, and it is completely incorrect for the state to suddenly start telling you exactly how many children you can have. It's against it's against human rights, and it's something that we should absolutely put down. We'll put our foot down on it. But on the flip side, and there is always another side of the coin to this, is that if it doesn't matter if you have 1 kid, 2 kids, 3 kids, 4 kids, or 40 kids, and you live in a shoe. If you can't look after one, let alone yourself, then you should not be allowed to have any. It's as simple as that, ladies and gentlemen. Because the thing is that there's got to be some level of personal responsibility involved in all this. If I had a child, absolutely, I would, you raise them, you nurture them, you provide for them, you look after them. You go out of your way because they're your flesh and blood. And it should be that if you have 2 kids, 3 kids, 4 kids, and that's absolutely how it is. And they should be your responsibility, not the state, not anybody else's. They should be your responsibility. So when you hear a thing like this, it seems as if what is the motive for scrapping this benefits cap? Is it so that it deters people from breeding like 3, 4 kids? Is it just because financially it makes more sense for some people to only have at least 2 mouths to feed or stuff like that? What is the objective? What is the aim? Why do we want it? Do we want it? And who's going to allow it to continue? Should it continue? And why? There's a lot of probably things I've probably missed out in this, but listen, I'm very, very much I really don't know if I actually want to start a family myself. Not because I couldn't be deemed responsible to look after my own children, or even before that, if there was somebody out there who wanted, who wanted to start a family with me, or be in a long-term relationship or stuff like that, or even adoption. There's stuff like that. But then again, adoption. What are the rules are on adoption on stuff like this? If biologically they're not related to you, then what's to stop people from adopting 5 or so kids at a time? I know there's probably got to be some regulations and rules about this, but I've got friends who've adopted kids. I know friends from school who are around about my age who are starting to become parents for the very first time. And you know what? Good luck to them all if they can raise their children. And you know what? Even more than that, when it comes to things like parental responsibilities, there is 2 things that I would absolutely emphasize. And this could be the case for anyone who's starting a family out there. First is that you've got to be responsible enough to care. And second, you've got to be responsible enough to have the capacity for love. Because being a parent is the single hardest job in the world. Harder than being a prime minister, harder than being a president, harder than being an emperor. So you can't now start telling me that we should now start saying to people about what you can and cannot have because you want to raise a family, because you want to raise the next generation. And bearing in mind, some families that'll be starting today, some of them may be raising kids who will go on to be the next prime minister. Today, for example, there could be people born today who will become the next leaders, who will become people that will be aspiring to be. And some of them may be parents of those people who will be aspiring to be. The world is not perfect, ladies and gentlemen. We understand that. But surely it makes more sense that when people like you and I leave this earth, we should make it a better place than we came in, especially for the next generation.